On July 20th, 2025, Typhoon Wipha made landfall with terrifying speed and force, unleashing chaos across Hong Kong. What began as an ordinary morning quickly spiraled into a disaster few saw coming. By late morning, the Hong Kong Observatory had issued Typhoon Signal Number 10, the highest level warning, as Wipha's wind field expanded rapidly. Within minutes, the skies darkened, winds howled through the city's skyline, and the storm turned the entire region into a war zone. The destruction began with the wind. Traffic lights shook violently, steel scaffolding broke free from high-rises, and entire rooftops peeled off like paper. In neighborhoods like Sham Shui Po and Kowloon Bay, videos showed metal signs slicing through the air and water tanks hurtling from buildings. Then came the rain. Relentless, blinding sheets that made it nearly impossible to see. In just a few hours, major districts like Tsuen Wan and Wong Tai Sin were underwater. Floodwaters swept through streets with terrifying speed, engulfing cars, motorcycles, and even buses. In one clip, a taxi was seen floating sideways before crashing into a street pole. As infrastructure failed, chaos intensified. The city's MTR system came to a halt, airport operations were suspended, and roads turned into rivers. Over 80,000 households lost electricity as power lines collapsed under the force of falling trees and broken poles. In Central, glass windows from luxury apartments shattered onto the streets below, forcing police to cordon off entire blocks. In outlying districts like Tai Po and Sheng Shui, low-rise homes were left exposed, with rooftops ripped off and families forced to flee through knee-deep water. But the most tragic moment came just after 4 p.m. off the coast of Victoria Harbor. A mid-sized tourist vessel, the Ocean Dragon, was returning to port when a sudden burst of wind capsized it in open water. Rescue teams rushed into action, but the conditions were brutal: blinding rain, huge swells, and near-zero visibility. By nightfall, 9 passengers had been confirmed dead, with several still unaccounted for. It was a devastating moment for the city, as many of the victims were families out for a weekend tour that turned into tragedy. As night fell on July 20th, Hong Kong was in the dark, both literally and figuratively. Entire neighborhoods lost power. Cell towers were knocked out. Emergency responders struggled to reach stranded residents as fallen trees and debris blocked the roads. In the New Territories, small communities like Yuen Long saw homes collapse and livestock swept away. Even hospitals were operating on backup generators, and rescue crews worked through the night in waist-high water, navigating broken streets and calling out for survivors. By the morning of July 21st, the damage became painfully clear. Drone footage revealed a city torn apart, debris-strewn highways, crushed cars, waterlogged train stations, and collapsed roofs. Hundreds of trees were uprooted, storefronts were destroyed, and entire residential blocks were unlivable. Over 370 injuries were reported, many caused by falling debris or glass during the peak of the storm. Dozens of buildings had suffered serious structural damage, and recovery teams were deployed across Hong Kong Island, Kowloon, and the outer villages.
Despite the destruction, the spirit of the city began to show. Volunteers came out in force, helping clear debris, distribute water, and check on elderly neighbors. Firefighters, medics, and utility crews worked tirelessly to restore basic services. Some roads were cleared within hours, and relief tents were set up in storm shelters for those who lost their homes. Even children helped sweep up broken glass from courtyards, showing that resilience runs deep in Hong Kong's people. Experts say Typhoon Wipha was fueled by unusually warm sea temperatures and may be a sign of more violent tropical systems in the years ahead. Meteorologists called it one of the fastest intensifying storms to ever hit the region. While cleanup efforts continue, the fear of what's next still lingers. In a city built to withstand much, Typhoon Wipha was a sobering reminder that nature always has the final say.
那个冰箱是在一家店门口的，应该是闲置。